Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Spanish lesson.
Today, we're going to continue our series on the compound tenses and learning one of the coolest tenses in Spanish, the present perfect subjunctive. So by the end of this video, you're going to know what it is, when to use it, how to form it, how to use it with tricky things like object pronouns. We're going to get into everything. And after this lesson, if you'd like to see our other videos on the compound tenses, we'll leave the links to those in the description below.
Remember, with each compound tense, we're just going to take what we've already learned using haber plus the past participle and apply it in a new way.
Exactly. But first, what is the present perfect subjunctive?
The present perfect subjunctive is a tense that we use to talk about actions that already happened. But when dealing with emotion, doubt, desire, uncertainty, or subjective expressions.
In other words, you're simply reacting emotionally or uncertainly about something that's already happened. So let's see when we need to use it.
We use the present perfect subjunctive when expressing a wish about a completed action.
So we could say something like, I hope that you have finished.
Espero que hayas terminado.
We could also use it when we express emotion about a past action. For example, I'm happy that she's come.
Me alegro de que ella haya venido.
We can use it to show doubt about a past action. For example, I doubt that they've seen it.
Dudo que lo hayan visto. Or expressing possibility about the past.
For example, it's possible that he's called.
Es posible que él haya llamado.
So, notice that in each of these examples, we express a wish or an emotion or a doubt or a possibility about something that's already happened. Now, the part of the present perfect subjunctive is the part that's already happened. Now, this tense isn't too difficult because we use the present perfect subjunctive for the same reasons we use any of the subjunctive mood. And that always goes back to our weirdo acronym. So when we have wishes or wants, emotions, impersonal expressions, recommendations or requests, doubt or denial, and ojalá. But in the case of the present perfect subjunctive, we always use it in relation to something that has already happened. Now, we really want to stress here that what can trip some students up is that the main verb can be in the present tense, the past tense, even the future tense, as long as the subordinate clause is something that has already happened and is still relevant. And we'll talk more about this really important point at the end of this lesson and get into an example of each so that you really understand it. But for now, how do we conjugate the present perfect subjunctive?
To form the present perfect subjunctive, we use the present subjunctive of haber plus a past participle. So for haber, we have yo haya, tú hayas, él, ella o usted haya, nosotros, nosotras hayamos, vosotros, vosotras hayáis, ellos, ellas o ustedes hayan. And remember, past participles are formed by, for AR verbs, we replace the AR with ado. So for example, hablar would become hablado. For ER and IR verbs, we replace the ER or IR with ido. So comer would become comido and vivir, vivido.
Now remember, in our other videos on the compound tenses, we mentioned that some verbs have irregular past participles. So here's a list of the most common ones. You can pause the video here if you'd like to write them down. What's nice is that irregular past participles don't change no matter which tense you use. So if you've learned them before, there's nothing new you need to learn. But let's just see one quick example using an irregular past participle. So for example, we could say, I doubt that he has written it.
Dudo que él lo haya escrito.
So if escribir would have been a regular past participle, it would be escribido, but it's irregular and we need to use correctly escrito. Now before we go on, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel if you still haven't. Okay, next. In Spanish, when using indirect or direct object pronouns or reflexive pronouns with the present perfect subjunctive, we always put the pronoun before the verb haber, never in the middle or after it.
So the correct structure will be the pronoun plus haber in the present subjunctive plus the past participle. Let's see an example using each pronoun.
Okay, so using a reflexive pronoun, we could say something like, I'm happy that you have woken up.
Me alegra que te hayas despertado.
So we can't say hayas te despertado or hayas despertadote. We have to have the pronoun before haber. Te hayas despertado. So an example of an indirect object pronoun, we could say something like, I hope that she has told me the truth.
Espero que ella me haya dicho la verdad.
So not haya me dicho, haya dicho me, has to be me haya dicho. Okay, our last one with using a direct object pronoun. I doubt that you've seen it.
Dudo que lo hayas visto.
So we can't say hayas lo visto, hayas visto lo. We have to have lo hayas visto.
Really quick, we want to say thanks to our supporters and members. Thank you to Janet Oliver for becoming a Patreon member. Gracias, amiga. And Lula Hannah and Eric Landon for your Buy Me a Coffee donations. Your support is the reason we can make these Spanish lessons. So, muchas gracias.
Okay, now let's get into some examples and see if you can answer along with Darcy. We'll do a few examples each from our weirdo acronym. So for W, which is our wishes, wants, or commands, we could have something like, I really hope that you've already talked to your boss before things get more complicated.
De verdad espero que ya hayas hablado con tu jefe antes de que las cosas se compliquen más.
We just want you all to have taken things seriously from the beginning. That's all.
Solo queremos que ustedes hayan tomado esto en serio desde el principio, nada más.
Okay, next for E, which stands for emotions, we could say something like, it honestly frustrates me that my brother hasn't even tried to fix the situation after everything that happened.
La verdad me frustra que mi hermano ni siquiera haya intentado arreglar la situación después de todo lo que pasó.
I was actually relieved to hear that you've already told them the truth. That must have been hard.
Realmente me dio alivio saber que ya les hayáis dicho la verdad. Debió de haber sido difícil.
Now remember, I stands for impersonal expressions. So we could say something like, it's surprising that no one has noticed what you've done behind the scenes. You deserve recognition.
Es sorprendente que nadie haya notado lo que usted ha hecho detrás de cámaras. Merece reconocimiento.
It's a bad sign that your son hasn't apologized to his coach.
Es una mala señal que tu hijo no haya pedido disculpas a su entrenador.
Next, R stands for recommendations or requests. So, for example, I recommend that we've done our research well before making a decision.
Recomiendo que nosotros hayamos investigado bien antes de tomar una decisión.
I ask that they've already read everything carefully before the meeting starts.
Pedí que ellos ya hayan leído todo con cuidado antes de que empiece la reunión.
Now, D is for doubt or denial. So we could say something like, honestly, I doubt that you have reviewed it.
Honestamente, dudo que lo hayas revisado.
He doesn't believe that we've been fair with his punishment.
Él no cree que hayamos sido justos con su castigo.
And O is for ojalá. Remember, when we use this in the present tense, it means like hope or hopefully. So we could say something like, I really hope you haven't forgotten what today is. I've been dropping hints all week.
Ojalá no hayas olvidado qué día es hoy. Llevo toda la semana dándote pistas.
Hopefully, your ex-girlfriend has found a place to stay because your relationship is getting complicated.
Ojalá tu exnovia haya encontrado dónde quedarse, porque tu relación se está complicando.
Okay, now to end this lesson, we're going to go back to our important point about how the main verb can be in the present, the past, even the future in relation to the subordinate clause and something that has already happened. However, first, if you haven't become a member of our community, you're missing out on lots of exclusive benefits. We have links to Patreon in the description where we do extra video lessons and audio comprehension, listening practice, and exclusive posts. We have links to YouTube memberships for exclusive posts, as well as Buy Me a Coffee where you can donate to the channel. We really appreciate everyone that supports us and joins the community to help us make these lessons to improve your Spanish. Okay, so to finish up our lesson, let's see the same sentence, but we'll have the main verb be in the present, the past, and the future. So for example, we could say, I'm glad that she has come.
Me alegro de que ella haya venido.
So she has already come, and now we're glad about it. Now in the past, we could say, I was glad that she came.
Me alegré de que ella haya venido.
So this is the same thing. She's already came, and then we were glad about it. But we can even use this when we're talking about a future situation, like, I'll be glad that she came.
Me alegraré de que ella haya venido.
So she's going to come, and then you'll be glad. So in relation, the present perfect subjunctive always happens before the main verb. So it can be a little bit tricky, but with practice, you'll get it. And that's it. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you still haven't.
Now watch this video to keep improving your Spanish.
Until next time.